I'm Nikki, and this is a crash course in music diplomacy, something which affects us all, especially musicians like myself. But it actually affects everyone, and most of us aren't as aware of its impact in our daily lives as we could be. Whether you're listening to a playlist on YouTube, or scrolling songs on TikTok, watching an international music competition like Eurovision, or even just attending an event that involves representatives of two or more countries where there is music present, you are consuming music diplomacy. And if you are a musician, playing with musicians from other countries, playing music written by a composer from another country, posting videos of your music online, or playing at an event with different nationalities represented, guess what? You're acting as a music diplomat. Alright, so today we're going to break it down with an overview of music diplomacy throughout history. We'll talk about globalization and the technological revolution and how they completely reshaped the ways that states organized themselves and interacted. We'll talk about some of the ways that we see outlets of music diplomacy, how they're good, bad, or neutral, and most importantly, at the end, I hope you're a little more confident in your ability to decide how you engage with music and musicians from other countries, maintaining an awareness of how your music can be helpful or harmful to other people. We are going to focus our historical approach on music from Western Europe, because most academic research on the path of music diplomacy has been focused on Western Europe, largely as a result of Western prioritization as a tool of imperialism. So basically, Western European countries weaponized music and cultural representation to reinforce their political aims. This is the ugly side of music diplomacy, and it's exactly why it's important to be aware of the way music diplomacy affects us. But in recent research, especially in ethnomusicology as an emerging field, there has been more of an effort to be inclusive and representative. And I really encourage you to do your own research on this subject. There are some studies in the description below that can help get you started. Music diplomacy has been around as long as society has been around. In antiquity, musical exchange happened through the telling of stories, especially when merchants would go to trade with each other. But even in Roman times, syncretism was used as a tool to form an empire from a bunch of different provinces that had been conquered. It was a unification device. Of course, there were always class distinctions between genres of music available to different classes of people and their perception. Those class distinctions are still around today. Of course, the genres have changed a little bit, but the reputations of the genres do perpetuate reputations of different groups that listen to them. But we're mostly going to start by talking about Christian IV of Denmark on, and that's starting with the conscious use of music in 1588 onwards, used in a court or diplomatic setting, not the more generalized studies done on music before that time. So he knew a thing or two about governing, and more specifically, he knew a thing or two about diplomacy as well. He knew that he needed to get diplomats on his side and in awe so that they would do what he wanted. In this way, he was able to inspire diplomats and also intimidate them. So they would go back to their respective nations aware of the power of Denmark and really trying to appease him. It was able to give him a lot of power in the more global political spectrum, although global for them at that time really just meant in the region.